Good evening, children. Good evening, parents. In this study, we are going to learn how to play Slav defense. And first, I'm going to explain you the theory. I'm also going to explain you where are the mistakes that children do on the tournaments. And then we are going to see 5 games. And what I also did is we are going to do something that's called guess the move, right? So you will have to try to really to memorize those games and the positions you are playing. So let's first see the introduction to the Slav defense. D4, D5, C4, and C6. This is a Slav defense, right? Now, white can play different moves here. I just want to show you first where are the problems, what the kids are doing. Like knight c3 and knight f6, knight f3. And this is where the mistake happens. Most of the kids on the chess tournament, they play bishop f5 immediately, right? They develop the bishop. There is a problem with this move because the pawn on b7 is weak, and white can take this pawn and then play a move like queen b3. And this is something that you need to remember from the white side. This move queen b3 is very important because now queen is attacking on b7, but you also have a knight attacking on d5, right? So what can black do here? That's the problem. I've seen kids doing here all kind of different moves. For instance, sometimes kids, they just play queen c7, right? And they protect the pawn on b7. They play b6. They push the pawn, and they think that's what's going to save the game, right? By playing b6. Now we can see all those different moves because I think this is very important for you to understand from both white and the black side. So let's say we play queen c7. Right? We are protecting the pawn. Now look, white can capture this pawn on d5 for free. Knight takes d5, knight takes, and queen d5, that's free. But there's also this great move, bishop f4. And now after bishop f4, if the queen takes, look, the bishop is developed, right? If the queen takes, then there's a queen b7, and the rook on a8 is attacked, right? So that's not good for black. Let's go back and see what's going on with the moves like let's say pawn to b6. Now this move makes a lot of problems on the white colors, right? So you'll see the suddenly the black king is not safe. Now we would love to play bishop e5, and maybe you're thinking about pushing the pawn to e3 and going to b5, but you can actually get this tempo move. And look, with the e4, what's happening is if a pawn takes, right? Now first you jump to e5 and you have this checkmate idea, but at the same time there is a move bishop to b5 here, right? You can play bishop to b5. See, the computer is even giving some kind of move g4, but bishop b5 for sure is winning as well, and knight d7, and then you can play bishop to g5, and there is no way that black can stop the attack because you are attacking knight d7 and bishop f6, right? You want to remove this knight and then take on d7. So white is winning the game, right? You just remove the piece and take knight d7, right? So you are winning the game. So that's one trick that you can play here. This move e4 is really nice to remember, and you are winning the game with this move. Now so that means we don't want to play bishop to f5 in this position, right? That's not a move that you want to play here. What you want to do is you want to first capture on c4, and now see there's no move queen b3, right? You want to play here b5 and protect your pawn. But if the move a4 happens, blocking that b5, now you can play bishop f5 because you have a c4 and the queen cannot go to b3. So that's the idea, right? And this is how you should play that position. And now from here, we can see different kind of ideas and the games, right? One of them is e3, where white wants to capture the pawn on c4. You cannot protect that pawn, right? Don't go for like moves like bishop e6 or I don't know something like bishop d3. That's you don't want to protect that pawn. What you want is just develop your pieces as fast as possible. Let white capture this pawn, and now you want to develop your bishop to b4. There's a pin, right? And with this pin, you are also controlling the center, right? The white center is controlled. Now, castling can happen, and you can develop your piece 97. And now, of course, white wants to push the pawn to e4, right? That's the idea. You can just move your bishop back and allow white to push the pawn. And what you don't want to do right now is you don't want to take on c3, right? You don't want to accept this kind of challenge, right, to take on e4, because this would be very dangerous for black, because now you cannot make a castling here, and the bishop on a3 is an extremely dangerous. So you don't want to go in a position like this, right? Don't accept this pawn. But what you can do, you can just make a castling, right? And now you are fine. Now after the castling, you are okay, right? Bishop goes to d3, protects the pawn, right? And you can play here bishop to h5, e5, knight e5, knight takes on d5, and pawn takes on d5. And we are going to stop here. There are moves, many moves here. You know, one of them is queen e3 to avoid the spin. Of course, you have to see now if you're playing on a chess tournaments, you have to see even what happens after c takes d5, like what white can do. I mean, you may be playing this position with the white side, and you want to continue. But I am going to stop here. This is just introduction, to this opening, so that you can see what else exists in those positions. Let's just go back and we're gonna review all this, right? So d4, d5, c4, c6, knight c3, and here we stop here. We don't play bishop f5, right? Now, if you are white, try to remember that after bishop f5, you have this idea with the queen b3 attacking the pawn on b7. Now, pawn takes. First we take, and then we play bishop f5. Now, if white doesn't play a4, then your idea might be b5, protecting the pawn on c4. So here you are okay to play bishop to f5 because the queen cannot go to b3 and attack your pawn on b7. So anyway, if you're playing this with the white side, whenever bishop goes to f5, you may think about queen b3 and attacking the pawn on b7. Okay, and here we talked about not protecting this pawn, right? And bishop b4. Okay, now castling, knight d7. Look, very nice development for both sides. Castling. We talked about this side not to accept the challenge, not to take on c3, because that bishop on a3 would be very, very powerful. So you want to make castling. You don't want to be greedy here and just go for a pawn. And bishop h5, right? You take, and here we stopped, right? Okay, that's the introduction to one of the lines. And so now go one more time through this on your own. You can also do it on the chessboard, right? See on your own, try to memorize the moves, and then we'll see the other lines. Okay, this is enough for now. See you in the next lesson. Bye bye.